Well, I guess I'll say this one, although I think I've already said this. Basically, the battleships or the cannons, like I said, we used to have all these little battleships with single guns on the front, and we basically use them for pounding rocks. And like, for instance, if you're mining or you're digging an open pit mine, and, or you're trying to get into a mountainside, you could pound a mountain basically and break the rock and break the dirt down, because as the shell goes in, it breaks the rock up, and you can then take that rock, because basically it's all about metal. And there's rock and there's metal in that there rock. So basically, you pound a mountainside, and it breaks up the rock, and basically you just take and then you take those pieces, and you go and you load them and you put them inside of a smelter, and you get them really nice and hot, and then what you get basically is slag, and I mean you get those particles to get all down and all in there, and basically what you get is pretty much metal. But those rock pieces, like I said, those rocks are really hard. So use cannons and shell those rocks, and then you can break them up and make metal. And then you can get railways and all kinds of things out of it. I had probably a whole bunch of little battleships or cannon ships. I call them cannon ships. They're called cannon ships or whatever. Anyway, there's a bunch of those little ones, and there's even some freelance ones where people would just build these cannons. Pretty much all the cannons are mine, though, because I manufactured cannons. That's what I did. I also manufactured a lot of other things, rail, trains, everything. So basically, I was the largest producer of metal and cannons because of the fact that, well, Lucifer Star basically, because I was going after the metal. It was a nice easy way to get a fair amount of metal, and pretty easy, just get the dirt off a mountain side, and then boom, 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 and it breaks it up, and then you can take that material and go and melt it, or build something else out of it, chisel it, whatever. So I had like probably 40 little ships, and then I started doing the bigger ships when I did the Panama Canal. And like I say, getting the metal stabilized to where it wouldn't actually come apart inside the salt water, because steel tends to oxidize, and like I said, you can take a piece of steel about this big, and even covered in oil and everything else like that, it'll just flake on you, basically, in natural state. So if it's like pure or close to pure steel, it'll just turn into a big flake ball. So getting that stabilized, so the moisture and the air, I guess, it doesn't oxidize. It's the air oxidation that actually makes it go, basically. So getting that stabilized is a little bit of a trick. Anyway, though, as far as the cannons, though, like I say, the actual guns were researched for about 6 months or a year. Or it was like a 2-year project. Like I said, we were getting the steel stabilized, and we were building the ships, or starting to build the ships, and the cannons were still being researched, and the deck guns basically were still being researched, and and practiced on. Like I said, there were 2 or 3 little explosions on the. It was basically this place out in the desert somewhere, probably in America or somewhere, where we had the cannon set up. Or Germany, where we had the cannon set up and the turret set up, and we were practicing with the turret, trying to get that loading action and everything else. Like, how do you have a powder room, or how do you have it so the things can come through the floor and be able to get them and then put them inside the cannon quickly? Because, I mean, this is for business, this is for rocks, and this is for mining metal. It's not for, it wasn't exactly intended to kill people. So we got the powder kegs and put them up in there, and then all that kind of stuff, and getting that all worked out so we can do that, so we can swivel and fire and everything, and getting all the actions worked out so where you can load them without dying. And like I said, there was a couple big explosions where like 14 people died one time, and it was static electricity, just like what happened with that one ship, where the number 2 blew up. That's why they have the grounding rods, or grounding little things. You clip them on, and that grounds you to the tray. And then you go to grab the powder. Otherwise, when you go to grab the powder, it goes zzz, and then boom. Or at least that's the idea. And we put special little wrap paper, and stuff, so there would be less likely to go zap. We practiced that and stuff like that. Anyway, for about 2 or 3 months, we practiced on them. But the ships weren't even built yet. It took 25 years to build the ships, and then once we built the ships, then everything. It took probably about a year to stabilize the metal, and then 25 years to actually build the ships themselves and research the cannons. And then we had them. And we used them on Panama Canal and then some other things, and basically to just for getting metal. And everything was copacetic and fine until basically Africa or the black people decided to take over, I think. And they decided to try and enslave the human race or the white race. And that didn't go so well for them. But like I say, Churchill made a... I was going to give everything to... Or not give everything, but I mean, put... Basically, China was going to look after all my stuff and watch me and stuff like that. Anyway, Churchill made this like quick little like thing, but he was just a thief, and there was quite a few fake Churchills, and probably the real Churchill died at some point in time. And then there's all these fake Churchills running around. He wasn't the real guy. Anyway, and he was shot down. That China basically, or Japan said he's not real. He's basically just an imposter. And he stole a bunch of planes, and so we shot him down and stuff like that. And basically, well, I mean, England would fall in love with me, and I didn't really care. It's like, here, I'll build your country, no problem. I don't care. Just leave mine alone. So, because I owned Germany, and I loved Germany, and basically England wanted help, and I was like, hey, oh, yeah, sure, I'll help you. I don't care. I mean, you're gonna work, but hey. I'm not a slave, and nor are my people. So, anyway, and they ended up owing me a lot of money and stuff like that, or at least a lot of gratitude. So, I love building countries. It's what I do. I love inventing for countries, too. It's what I do, and so I invented for Britain and Germany, and, I bought Germany, and I invented for Britain. And there's a little bit of things in there where like Germany was like, no, we won't be with you, and I was like, yes, you are. I bought you. You're mine. And England was like, yeah, okay, we'll help out. So they helped me, and there's some other stuff, people getting in the way, as they say. And anyway, though, but we fought free and all that other stuff, and it's like, and Churchill turned out, the real Churchill died. There was a bunch of killing and stuff, and a lot of confusion. But basically, the people loved me, and the people cared about me. And the people wanted me to rule because, I had led them so far. I had led them for hundreds of thousands of years. I was this creator and leader and epic person. I was the Lord. And I loved my people just as much. Like every time we ever went into battle or we had a problem or we had to go do something about something, somebody would have taken over a town or a city, and it's like, I don't really want to send you guys. And it's like, well, if we don't do nothing, they're going to come and get us eventually because we have the only tank manufacturer, or we have the only gun manufacturer around, and they've already asked us 3 times for a shipment of guns. So we know what they're going to do with those guns once they get them. So anyway, they've already killed a whole bunch of people. It's time to do something about this. It's like, oh, yeah, all right, damn. So, or there'd be other situations where I was like, he's going to come after us. He's going to come after you. You know this. He won't stop until he's dead. So, so there are times when we had to go and take a city back over, or, it's basically, we all just want to eat, and I just wanted to build and invent. That's all I wanted to do. So, I didn't want to get in a war or nothing, but, war came. In fact, I told people that there wouldn't be war and all that. Like I said, technically I was with Japan when they got bombed. So, I don't know. I love my people, and I didn't really want to bomb them, and then later on I ordered it, basically. But, the actual people, that was just a cover-up for the people who actually did psycho-bomb them and then got killed themselves. So, technically the people who bombed Japan, they had already bombed it years before, when I was with them, so... Anyway, I love my Chinese people. I'd never, ever, ever say anything bad about them. So,